If you've lived long enough, or maybe you are a student of finance history, you know that a lot of not so good things happen in October. I wonder, since the forbearance moratorium is ending at the end of September, could this be the case with housing this October? Hey guys, my name is Mac Rogers. I'm a real estate broker here in the San Francisco Bay Area. Welcome to the channel. If you Google market crashes, you are bound to find out that a lot of significant market crashes happen in October. In Investopedia, they call this the October effect. Now, this video is not about finance or the stock market, so I'm not going to go about the history and explanation for these stock market crashes. I'll just put a link in the description below. We're here to talk about real estate. If you follow the channel, you know that from the very beginning of the forbearance moratorium, I have said that forbearance won't cause a housing market crash. So am I changing my thinking? Not entirely, but there are some things that we need to start looking at that will affect the housing market this fall and into 2022. This past spring, it seems that we have reached the top of the market. If you look at what's in the news, the talk is about record-breaking price appreciation, that inventory is up, and there are less buyers out there. Now, in regards to inventory, depending on where you are, some numbers are as high as a 30% increase. Here in the East Bay, there's definitely some cities that have seen inventory spike and houses are not getting multiple bids anymore. Yes, it's true that there might be some seasonality to these numbers, which we truly won't know yet until we see the final numbers. The other key thing is that prices, I think, have finally reached a level wherein buyers are hitting the pause button. They're basically saying, wait a second, I'm not going to pay for that, or God forbid that it has truly become unaffordable. You know, one of the things that I say is that home prices are not unaffordable, they're simply expensive. Because if it was truly unaffordable, no one would be buying and we would see a lot of price reduction, which could finally be happening. And then you add to that the sellers that are all of a sudden rushing into the market to make sure that they can still take advantage of this seller's market and still get top dollar. So you can kind of see where this might be going, right? Now, the October effect that has happened in the stock market could hit the real estate market because the mortgage forbearance program is ending in September 30th. And the Biden administration said they won't be extending it anymore. At the beginning of the pandemic, over 7 million homeowners were in mortgage forbearance. That number has been steadily declining. That number is now less than 2 million homeowners in forbearance. If the market is at the top and buyers are not willing to pay these prices, and at the same time, you have regular sellers rushing in to sell their homes, and then add to that the possibility of these homeowners in forbearance eventually selling, again, you see where this could lead to a whole lot of sellers starting to compete on prices and thereby pushing prices down. Now, to be fair, I'm not saying all these homeowners in forbearance are going to sell their houses. The highest number or estimate that I have seen was around 400,000 could go on the market. And if you look at the overall inventory picture, we still have a shortage of housing in the US, and even with 400,000 additional properties coming on the market for sale, that wouldn't seem to put a dent on our estimated 4 million housing units that we need. Here's a problem that I see with this 400,000 or whatever the number ends up being, and that is it's not uniform. Meaning it's not like we're going to have an increase in inventory in the places where it's badly needed. Most likely it's going to happen where you have the highest rates of mortgage delinquencies and in places where the local economy might not be that strong. Here's a list from roofstock.com of US cities with the largest mortgage delinquencies. They even broke it down to small metro areas, mid-sized metros, and large metro cities. Now, before you start patting yourself in the back and saying, I knew it, mortgage meltdown 2.0, it's highly unlikely that we experience the type of crash that we just had. With the type of housing market that we've had since 2019, you know, amazing price appreciation, double-digit gains, most homeowners have a lot of equity in their homes. So there won't be massive amount of homeowners walking away from their homes even if they are struggling financially. The logical thing to do is to sell and get the equity. And that is the key difference. There is equity in these houses. Now, you're probably saying, great, why then did I title this video October Housing Crash if there's no crash, right? Well, here's what I'm afraid that might be playing out. For me, there are a few things I look at. Number one, I don't believe that we are short 4 million housing units. If you watch my videos, I stated that I think this number is inflated. I think there are a lot of wannabe buyers that get counted that for one reason or another can't really buy, and therefore I think should not be counted. There are also unrealistic buyers that whatever the price is presented to them, they don't want to pay, or they want to pay a lower price. And also buyers that get scared when the market goes down. Again, I think that 4 million is inflated. The second thing I'm looking at is that we've gotten used to these low inventory numbers. And I believe that this is embedded in our psyche right now. And any increase in inventory, no matter how small, will have a massive impact on buyers' thinking. I've seen how fast buyers' mindset change. Even with very little inventory change, an increase, no matter how slight that change may be, they start thinking, or they start to have a wait and see attitude. Number three, everything is magnified by the media, and therefore when something gets reported, hardly anyone tries to find out what the context is. And I go back to what I just mentioned regarding inventory. The latest report says that inventory is increasing. But the media doesn't tell you that the increase is not significant, because most people just read the headline, inventory increasing. They think all hell is about to break loose, and guess what? That's how they start acting. And number four, because of my previous three reasons, how long will these positive equities last, especially for those that are in trouble and do end up needing to sell? Think about this. Say you have a bunch of regular sellers in one particular neighborhood selling. Then you have maybe one neighbor that was in forbearance and they need to sell quick in order for them not to get foreclosed. Maybe they price their home a little bit more aggressive than the competition. You know what happens when this starts? Again, buyers start thinking, well, if this house has a lower price, if no one buys that house, maybe these other homes that are on the market will also lower their price, and I can get the one that I want. And then add to that buyers will also start to think, well, if I can't buy the house that I want right now, there is more inventory that will come on the market, probably at even a lower price. So you see what I'm getting at? It might start to snowball, and pretty soon those people in forbearance that had equity and need to sell, they see their equity start dwindling or going down every week, and they start to panic. Yes, I know even with this scenario, the actual numbers kind of still don't match up. There are still more buyers than sellers. But when the psychology is negative, when people are afraid, it doesn't matter. The mortgage meltdown that we had, there was a ton of properties that could be had for pennies on the dollar. A majority of the workforce was still employed. The economy was still going, but people were so afraid to act. Heck, I was afraid to act. I can tell you two specific properties that I did not pull the trigger because my mindset was this was going to get worse before it gets better. Right now, that's what I see starting to happen. People talking about an October housing market crash, just like what has happened in the past with the stock market. And it's because of the combination of everything that I've mentioned. And if that's the narrative that's being pushed out there, it could be a self-fulfilling prophecy. Might not happen all in October. In fact, it could be in 2022, but this could be the beginning. What do you think will happen in the housing market this October? I'd like to hear your thoughts. Please comment below. Thanks for watching this video. I'll see you in my next one.